Ninky Nurse! Nick Nurse. Ninky Nine Door Nurse. You took this one from us, Nursey boy. Little Ninky Nine Door Nurse. What was that second half lineup that you had on the floor? Fred VanVleet and Delano Banton and Koloko. I think Gary Trent was out there, but I don't know how are we going to stop their run? We coughed up 9 in a row. 9 in a row. Never mind another 17-0 run. Nurse, you got to stop the bleeding. You got to stop the bleeding. Nursey. I don't know. Sometimes I worry, Nurse. I know he's got all of his mad little schemes, his box plus one, and his switching back and forth from zone, and I don't know. Sometimes I worry that, and maybe it doesn't matter now. Maybe this game lost doesn't matter. I don't know. I like to get some momentum. I like to, win games. I like to not have to be worrying about home court advantage at the end of the season. Maybe he thinks that he's tinkering with these lineups and he's just, getting some of the rotation people figured out. Oh, I mean, I like to see Koloko in there, but come on, let's get more creativity. I mean, I don't know. OG might have been the fifth guy coming out of halftime. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So far, I'm 0 for 0 on the comments. But hey, somebody will comment. Maybe my son will comment. Anyway. But yeah. It was just horrible to watch. It was, even the second half ending with them getting a couple of buckets and tightening it up. I don't know. Not good, Mr. Nurse. I think after a couple, you should have called a timeout and switched it up. It might have been a Chua out there instead of OG. Anyway, I'll have to check. But yeah, just sad loss. What a waste. I was envisioning this podcast starting off praising Mr. Pascal Siakam, for killing it. He was going bananas, especially in the first half and even the third quarter went well. Not the end of the third quarter, because again, I don't know what we take the foot off the pedal. This team needs to just push. Let's try and get a lead. Let's try to play with a lead. We never can. We always seem to let it slip. Then we want to fight our way back. And then we let it slip. Then we fight our way back. We get a couple of points lead. We can get up to a 5-point lead. Heck, I think we had a 10-point lead. But let's try to sustain it. Instead, we, I don't know. We start doing crazy plays. And even Pascal, with what a great game he had, still early on in foul trouble. They had to take him out for the end of the second quarter. That's where Brooklyn was able to come back, because we didn't have any, tic-tac, back and forth scoring answer. So he's riding the pine because he starts out with 2 fouls early. Then, again, being too aggressive. And again, I love it. I loved when he got the 3. And I don't know what that was. Even Alvin was wondering what the heck is that. He's got the 3 sort of behind his back with his arms crossed. I liked it. I liked the attitude, but it sort of reminds me of a Joel Embiid that was, flying around after he's scoring against us, and then they ultimately lost the series. We got Pascal getting too cocky and doing the bump, backing him in. And that wasn't even the worst part, is that his cockiness has him going, challenge it, Nurse, challenge it. And then Nurse, caught up in the momentum, thinking, hey, Pascal's having a good game, we're winning this one. I don't want to look like I'm not supporting my my number one guy, top 5 in the NBA, Pascal Siakam, this season. I liked Matt Devlin's even working that one in top five. Anyway, um, yeah, but then he calls him the challenge, and what happens at the end? We end up, sure enough, I think Van Vliet possibly stole that ball clean out of Durant's hands, and we've got no challenge left when we actually needed it. Instead, what was an obvious offensive foul ends up getting challenged, and we lose the challenge, and we lose the game. And, I think in my last video, which probably you haven't seen, I don't know if it's worth going back to check out, but I did mention something about not buying into Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving seemed to kill us in this game, which, again, was planning to comment about the first half where we kept Durant and Kyrie, minimized, and Kyrie was having all kinds of trouble for a guy that they claim potentially has the greatest handle of all time. Our guys were getting in there. Our guys were poking away. I like even the little wraparound Van Vliet does where he disrupts it from the backside. But all for naught. All for naught. Maybe we learned something. I don't know. Just depressing. Just depressing. I was even debating. The reason I'm doing these videos, as I told you, is that when I watch the Raptor game, and it's a victory more so, sometimes for a loss, but a victory, I like to bask in it. I like to search around the internet, check out YouTube, see who's saying what, see if there's anybody talking, up the Raptors. Because it's not going to be on First Take or Undisputed in the next morning. They're too busy talking about the Lakers game from a couple days ago or whatever the heck Brooklyn's doing. So actually, maybe we would have been in a little bit of chatter on this one, but it's a Friday night, so they won't remember on Monday morning. But anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to hunt around, see if there's anybody else like me excited about a Raptor victory. So I was debating with the loss. Maybe I don't do a video, but I'm going to stick to it. I got enough criticism from my first video, and for only 20 views, it was a lot of criticism. But anyway, hopefully I'm going to make these better. But let's just get into a couple of specifics about this game. Yeah, it was a tale of sort of, two. It was a Jekyll and Hyde game. You could almost break it down the first half, second half, but it wasn't really like that. Started out though like OG. I don't know what is going on with OG. Again, maybe he's gonna pull it together. I hope he's gonna pull it together. I love OG. OG has so much talent and potential, as we all know. He still did okay defensively. Had a couple nice blocks, but man, couldn't buy a bucket. Again, a couple offensive fouls. He's losing the ball, and I don't know what that play was. O'Neal, I think, locked him up as he tried to come in for a jam, and OG is supposed to be strong. You know what I mean? Take that thing to the hole. Don't let this guy grab the ball mid-air and then somehow hang on to it. So you get a jump ball. I mean, OG looked shocked. I think he thought he was fouled, but let's push through on those. Delano Banton's another one. Delano Banton had some great cuts to the net, in the first half. Then I don't know what he's doing there in that second quarter. I already was complaining second half, complaining when they came out. Banton's out there not looking like he can do anything. Not looking like he knows what to do with the ball. Just getting it at the top of the circle and dishing it off to Fred right away. Yeah, in the first half it had so much potential. I was even laughing about the call of the night, where Fred VanVleet, they got it to Fred and he hit a three, and Alvin Williams said, something about, that's a bucket, and Matt Devlin chimes in and throws in and book it just before they go to commercial. I was excited. I was looking forward to beating Brooklyn. Like I said, I was already critical of Brooklyn. I don't think they're going to do it this year. I don't think they've got. Sadly, Steve Nash, being a Canadian guy, he's not the right coach for them, and clearly doesn't seem to be able to regroup, or anything in these games. But man, it looked like the Raptors sure, at least gave them a little bit of a job extension for a few more days when we shouldn't have. We should have buried them, and then we could have had them, fire Nash 2 weeks in and have to get a new coach and then be totally discombobulated for the first half of the season and then not be able to recoup potentially you know, because they've got a Durant and a Kyrie, these guys can turn it on, and in the playoffs, who knows what can happen. So it'd be better to have them a lower seed playing somebody higher up and just knock them out so that we can have a nice clear path through, Philly or somebody easy like that in the playoffs to the Eastern Conference Final. But and Gary Trent Jr., I don't know what he was doing either. Like, I love this guy. He had a few nice little buckets here and there, but when we needed him, he's charging into KD. I don't know what that was. Even never mind charging into him. He's trying to get his shot. I could see them even trying to get him the ball to kind of get him going, and he's trying to shoot it right in KD's face. Like Kevin Durant stuffed him 2 shots in a row. It was embarrassing. Why is he trying to ISO? Even when he got that break too, he had a nice little steal turnover, but he runs in. There's 2 defenders. Why is he trying to be so selfish and manhandle his way in there? I don't know. And even Fred was doing a little bit of that later on, but I will still say it probably should have been a foul there when Gary was trying to work over those 2 defenders, but they didn't call it. We're in the States. We got to remember the crowd's not on our side. The refs aren't on our side. Oh, except actually that I don't know any of the refs' names, but that lady ref, she tried to give us that ball when they tried to say that Ben Simmons had knocked it out. I don't know, was that Precious Achua? I think that maybe had it, and he lost the handle. Precious Achua! Precious, atrocious! I don't know what the heck that was from him today either. He's losing the ball. He's losing passes. He's dribbling like a madman. I guess that one he sort of was a long pass. Then he kind of couldn't get it under control and dribbled out of bounds. But man, again, couldn't buy a bucket. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of positive. I mean, there was some. Pascal, sick dunk on that pass from Scotty Barnes where they threw it into Scotty. It was deep. And then Pascal was going to the net on the weak side, and he dropped it in to him. And Pascal, I think he got an and one on that dunk, and it was KD that tried to kind of stuff him, getting posterized there by Pascal because he really, went wide with the sweep. Left hand in. That was great. Even a few other Scotty Barnes passes. He had the no look on the other break to Pascal where he could have taken it and done a dunk, but there was a defender, and anyway, get a nice no look between the 2 guys. That was awesome. And I think there was even another great Barnes pass, but that was into Delano Banton, who couldn't keep his hands on it, and it went out of bounds. But that one I wasn't as negative about because Scotty Barnes, he's just such a quick passer. I'm not even sure Delano Banton expected that to be coming. But you're in the NBA. You got to keep your eye on the ball. You got to be ready to catch it. Yeah, a couple other positives. I mean, speaking of Scotty, there was some crazy handle he was showing. I don't even know what. He was doing the dribble back and forth through the legs, but then he threw in some other move where it was like he went through the leg, back, and then kind of crossed over the front again. And man, he had like an extra dribble, or maybe it was just the way he shuffled his feet. I don't know. I'm going to have to go check out the highlights and see exactly how he's pulled that off. But yeah, Scotty hitting threes. These guys can pull it together, but I don't know. This one, I think partially we got to blame Nick Nurse a little bit on the matchups that he put out there, and I don't know if he has the right flow of the guys coming in. I mean, I know he's trying to give Koloko minutes, and Koloko sometimes seems like he's just all over the place in a good way. I mean, he seems to be involved with rebounding and blocking shots all over the place, or even if he doesn't technically get a block shot, he's disruptive out there, which is great to see. But I'm not sure he should be getting as many minutes as he is when I don't don't know, when the game's slipping away, let's get some offense out there. I mean, I know we got to get stops, but and obviously when Otto Porter Jr. Joins the team, if he ever joins the team, maybe that's why we got him on such a team-friendly deal. Is that he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm injured and I'm not going to be able to play until the second half of the season." But it will be nice to get him coming in off the bench and hitting some threes because, man, we sometimes seem like we're lost out there and don't have anyone to ditch it to. And then, we had a shot clock violation and a couple of other counts that went deep. And anyway, I don't know. It just seems there's nobody to dish it to. I mean, especially when Gary Trent Jr. and OG are hurting, and maybe the guys are out there knowing that they're suffering, so they're hesitant to pass it to them. But anyway, sad game. Yeah, O'Neal killed us at the end of the fourth quarter there. Crazy defense. That three that he hit was that was probably the nail in the coffin. And of course, KD actually getting his shots. I mean, nobody thought that he was going to remain 0 for 9, I think is what he started. We knew that wasn't going to keep up, but, he's a killer. Rising up. In fact, he hit one over Koloko where it was just shocking. You could really see how much elevation KD can get out there because, Koloko is a tall boy, and KD just went right over him. I think that was for a three. That was when they were in that 17-0 run. Anyways, quickly, let's go through the little peripherals. Speaking of Scotty Barnes, I do love this Pixel commercial that they got going on. It's interesting anyway, just being maybe because I'm born and raised in Toronto. I like him. He makes some little comment at the end that he didn't know what to expect when he gets to Toronto, and at the end he's saying now it's his home. Anyway, love that. His hair was looking much better today, although he didn't play quite as well as he did in Game 1, so maybe I'm wrong. And on OG, I was critical of his hair, and in Game 1, I didn't love the little tight kind of braids that he had going on. So he had his hair proper, the more menacing, making him look taller and bigger, more substantial out there. And maybe that's why he played a little better on D, but man, he could not get his offense going. It's like he was a little less aerodynamic, maybe. So, I possibly called that the wrong way last video. Other team, there wasn't a lot of standout hair. I don't really like Patty Mills' do. I don't know what that guy's doing. And it almost looks like he's balding. That's why he's got such a wide, thick headband. But, I mean, it looks pretty thick at the back, but he's growing a lot of hair. It's almost like he has a little weave or something in there. I don't know what is going on. And yeah, just, I don't know, too long. He looks like, I don't know. I think my mom has had similar hairstyles out there to Patty Mills. I mean, maybe because he's named Patty, I guess. I don't know. He identifies with female hair types. Don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, no real other standouts out there. Just overall, a depressing, sad loss. Sad loss, sad loss. Even right to the end. I don't know what. Sometimes I also wonder, again, back to criticizing Nick Nurse. And maybe the players, again, I don't really know, obviously, all of the dynamics. I got a couple uncles that coach basketball. Maybe I got to check in with them and see their thoughts. Does he actually call every player? Do the guys got to read what's going on out there? But I don't know why Pascal's driving to the bucket. Maybe he's trying to get an and one, I guess, to get three. I suppose that's really the only defense. But this is where we're gonna need like a guy like Otto Porter if we can have him as a possible open look. And you get Fred out there, and Gary's usually decent at threes and OG, and then you got Otto, and maybe Pascal kind of takes it in to draw the double team and then kicks it out to one of them for a three at the end when we're down, a possession, two possessions. I think it was at 3 points, though, when Pascal drove that in. I don't know why we weren't trying to get a three to tie it up and send it to overtime, but anyway. Sad loss. I'm going to sign out. It's just depressing. Yeah, anyway, hopefully next game we'll get it back, and obviously our undefeated season is sadly over, and 500 is not horrible, but we got to be much better than that if we're going to end up third in the East. So come on, Raptors, you can do better. I don't know if any of you are going to watch this. I'm sure you're not, but if a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend knows anybody on the Raptors and you're watching this video, tell them more effort next time. Okay? I don't like when I'm at home feeling like I care more about the game than the guys on the court, and not everybody, obviously. Van Vliet, Pascal, even Barnes, they were out there doing their thing. But yeah, I don't know what was going on, man. I'm calling out Precious Achua, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent, and even a little bit of Delano, man. Delano, stick to your cuts, stick to your dunks, uh, or have some kind of game plan in mind when you get that ball, and instead of just dishing it off right away. Because otherwise, what are you doing out there? But I'm rambling. Thank you very much for viewing. I'm up to a whopping 4 subscribers after my first video, so I'm trying to get to 10, as I said. At this rate, I don't know. I'm going to have to do, I guess, 3 videos before I get to 10. Not bad. It'll be, 4 or 5 seasons before I get to 100 subscribers. But actually, no, that's horrible math. I think there's 82 games, right? Anyways, appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day, even though the Raptors bummed us all out. Brutal.